All right. Well, so what advice do you have for parents who are struggling with child misbehavior? Because it can be so overwhelming sometimes. They could, in the thick of it, they could just be like, I don't know what to do, very overwhelmed. How do you normally start that conversation? And then how do you actually partner with them?
Yeah, so I think to have a meaningful conversation about a child who isn't behaving the way the parent wants them to, you have to start with that space that it's okay that things aren't okay. Because, sometimes parents know they go to the doctor and they're like, well, I know if I say X, Y, or Z, she's not going to be happy with me. So you got to have that space, to open the space for a real, honest conversation. And so sometimes I'll say, so I know things are hard. Things are hard for everybody right now, especially with the pandemic. We're all stuck at home. Tell me how things are going. How's remote learning going? And, if you just start at the superficial layer and say, how's school? Fine, you get fine. You don't get anything more. But if you really want to have that conversation, you can say, so what's hard with remote learning? And, then you find out, well, Johnny comes up and starts yelling when Susie's trying to do her homework. And then, blah, 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 and everybody starts fighting. So I try to pick a scenario, like a predictably difficult scenario, and then talk to the family about what is actually happening. And then what I say is kind of back the bus up a little bit, go back and try to figure out what led to this messy moment. So my way of approaching it with families is that every big unwanted behavior comes from a big unmanageable emotion. So maybe when Susie's starting to do her homework, she's actually feeling frustrated and angry and she can't focus in the first place. So when her little brother comes up and starts pulling on her shorts and saying, come play with me, come play with me, she loses it and is yelling. Well, maybe Johnny was hungry. Like, how is everybody feeling in that situation? And is there any way as a parent that you could have predicted this meltdown before it happened? And I am so impressed at how many parents know exactly what's going on. They've just never thought about it that way. So they often know that Susie was stressed and Johnny was hungry and bored, but they think to themselves, well, she has to do her homework or she'll be ruined for life. So the parents like, you got to sit down, you got to do your homework. We have these unreasonable expectations on ourselves as parents that we're supposed to control everything everybody does. And, we tell the little sibling, shh, be quiet, go to your room. Then he starts crying, then nobody's focusing, and it's a huge meltdown. But if you take that pressure off the parent and say, look, it's okay that things aren't okay. What's important is not how everybody's behaving, but how everybody's feeling. And those yucky behaviors will get easier, maybe even lessen if you focus on the feelings.